It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and I am super excited to bring you today a Marks and Spencer's London Porter. Now, this has been brewed by Meantime Brewery in Greenwich in London. It's 5.5% ABV in a 550 milliliter black bottle. Looks very good. Ignore the condensation on the front of the bottle. It's just a case of, I've had the beer in the fridge, I've stored it in the fridge, it's been out the fridge now the best part of 45 minutes, so it's warmed up a little bit. It's not obviously room temperature, it's cool, it's cold, but it's just claimed some of that condensation from the warm air around. There's the, I say warm air, it's 15 degrees, cold. There's the bottle cap, the British flag on the bottle cap. And I'm excited for this one because, well, why? Why am I excited? I just think Marks and Spencer, they have a level of understanding for great British culture. They really do. And whenever they decide to do something, 9 times out of 10, it's really good quality. Now, I know Meantime are a fantastic brewery. A great British brewery that have been around really the whole time that I've been reviewing beer on YouTube. They've been around at least 13 years. I used to love their Meantime, I think it was called a chocolate porter actually, and it was in this lovely little chamfered Belgian style bottle. It was brilliant. That beer was fantastic back in the day. You don't see it so much anymore. A lot of breweries now have kind of transferred their beers over into cans. Of course, we're talking here a bottled beer, but I think what would have been the icing on the cake here, because it's been brewed by Meantime, put in Marks and Spencer's, I think the icing on the cake would have been if Marks and Spencer's maybe requested Meantime to put that beer, or that beer there, the London Porter, maybe back in that lovely old chamfered Meantime bottle. Some of you might remember, some of you might be watching this beer review going, what is this guy on about? It was just a lovely small 330 milliliter bottle. It was very unique. That's what I remember really of Meantime Brewery. I think most people do. If you know Meantime Brewery and you've been drinking Meantime Brewery beers a number of years, you will know that beer. You will know that bottle shape. Good levels of carbonation on the beer. Very small, one finger. Slight. In fact, it's not really a head at all on the beer. It's jet black in the glass. There's a little bit of light bleeding through the side of the glass, and there's a little bit of, no, it's carbonation. It looked like a little bit of sediment in the bottom of the glass, but I think it's carbonation. Let's get the aroma then. Ooh, this smells like their chocolate porter actually. I haven't drunk their chocolate porter in years. If you can remind me in the comments, people, what was the ABV of their chocolate porter? Because if it was anywhere near 5.5% as this beer is here today, then we might very well be drinking an old copy of, an old version of Meantime's chocolate porter. Wouldn't that be great? It smells fantastic, really fantastic. A little bit of roasted malt coming through, a little bit of sweet malt. Then you get this slight, ever so slight kind of chocolate powder, cocoa powder aroma, only a little bit. Plum, fig, prune from the hops. It was about £2.50 a bottle. I think that's marvellous value for money for something like this. Let's get in. Cheers, everybody. roasty toasty. Roasty toasty. Now, where I was getting that chocolate cocoa powder in the aroma, it doesn't come through in the taste. It's not coming through in the taste. And that, for me, is maybe a sign of my imagination. Maybe I really wanted it to be the old chocolate porter from Meantime. But this is more a very traditional London porter. Pardon me. Little hiss and fizz of carbonation to begin with. Then we go straight into that malt. We're going straight into that slight biscuit malt. We're going straight into that kind of roasted malt. Roasted malt bitterness is coming through quite big. Yeah, this is a big, bold beer. It's quite refreshing. It's quite a refreshing porter. And then right at the very end, it offers some mouthfeel. It's offering up a little bit of creaminess. But to begin with, you're thinking this is a really refreshing beer. It's good. It's really good. Nicely carbonated. Fantastic, rich, roasted malt flavours. Let's see if it's bottle conditioned. Now, remind me, everybody. Remind me in the comments box. Now, I know Meantime, I'm pretty sure Meantime were bought out. I'm pretty sure they were bought out by... Do you know, it might have been Asahi? It might have been a Japanese company back in the day, because I was in Belgium and I met somebody from Meantime Brewery in Leuven Craft Beer Festival, and we had a great time. We spent about an hour talking in Belgium, in Leuven, at a beer festival, and we had a wonderful time. It was really good, really kind of fantastic. And I remember them talking about kind of like the Japanese coming over and making sure the brewery was at a certain level, a certain standard, and they were kind of keeping a keen eye on quality. And that was great for me to listen to that, because it means, I'm pretty sure it was a Japanese company that bought out Meantime. I doubt they're going to mention that on the back of a Marks and Spencer's bottle, mind you. No. Of course, it's Marks and Spencer, so there's not going to be too much about Meantime on the back of this bottle. About this beer, this London Porter is brewed in Greenwich using no fewer than 7 malts. 7 malts, wow. To recreate a historic recipe from the mid-1700s. Isn't that fantastic? For the style of beer that was once synonymous with London, and a perfect match with meats, cheeses and oysters. It's just wonderful. So they found a 1700s recipe here. So they've left no stone unturned here. Meantime, and of course Marks and Spencer's. And this is what I, pardon me. This is what I want to talk about. I mentioned it at the beginning of the review. Yes, you might pay a little bit more money for something from Marks and Spencer's. And yes, when everything goes through the till and you go, ooh, a little bit, because everybody does, unless you're a millionaire, you quickly forget it. I mean, I don't have that massive privilege to quickly forget it, of course. But what you're left with is are levels of quality. You won't go to Lidl. I love Lidl and Aldi. I love Asda's, I love all the supermarkets, I really do. But you won't go to Lidl and Aldi and drink a beer with a recipe that's you know, they've gone through the history books and they've brewed a beer through the history of 1700s, and they found this old recipe and they brewed it to that recipe, and they've thought about it and they've looked at British traditions, London traditions, and they brewed this wonderful London porter. You won't get that from Lidl and Aldi, you really won't. But you will get it from Marks and Spencer's. But of course, there's that little pinch at the till, that little kind of like, it is expensive, let's make no bones about it. But if you're able to, try it. I mean, it's a pretty decent porter. There's a lot of history involved with the beer. It looks good. It's a well-behaved beer. It smells good. It tastes wonderful. It's really roasty and toasty and lovely. It's a 9 out of 10. £2.50 a bottle. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.